Welcome to Jumpstart University. I am Dominique here again with another video to help you become a successful financial professional. Today, we are going to continue the series we started about the biggest fears of aspiring financial professionals. This is part 2, How Do I Get Hired? Now, before we get into all this wonderful content, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you always have all the latest content that I'm producing on this channel for aspiring financial professionals like you to become successful. Okay, so last time we talked about how do I get started. If you didn't see that video, please go back and make sure you watch that one. The link will be down below in the description. I gave you that one tip that was kind of technical in nature, if you remember, and then another one that was more personal development. But today I'm going to switch it up on you, move my cheese, and I'm going to combine the technical and the personal together, okay? And you're going to see why in just a minute. All right, how do I get hired? Well, in a really simple, seemingly, callous way to say this, but you got to develop a valuable skill set. At the end of the day, that's what you got to do. So many aspiring financial professionals I talk to are focused on designations and education and all this other kind of stuff, which is important, but not the most important. I've had a lot of conversations with RIA owners, and they tell me the same thing over and over and over. Dominique, can you introduce me to people with C.H.A.M.P skills? What do I mean by C.H.A.M.P skills? What are C.H.A.M.P skills, Dominique? I'm glad you asked. This is someone that has a capacity for growth. That's what the C stands for. Your endless capacity for growth. You must come to the table with the thought of constant and continual self-investment. No ifs, ands, or buts. There is no margin for laziness on your way to greatness, my friend. We are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle said it this way: excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So, what does this look like? It looks like reading books and applying what you've learned, participating in masterminds, study groups, knowledge circles, conferences, being coached in those areas that allow you to expose your zone of genius and your zone of excellence so that you operate in your zone of incompetence or competence. That's what capacity for growth looks like. Now, what does the H stand for, Dominique? Well, high accuracy and attention to detail without any supervision. That's really important. The reality is that when you're hired, you will represent potential ROI, but not immediate ROI. ROI is return on investment. There's a training that needs to take place. There's a maturation period for you. More productive individuals to the firm's bottom line will be taken away from their high value activities to get you up to speed. This learning curve is what represents the biggest risk to the firm owner. So, what can you do to flatten the learning curve? Well, you must strive to be accurate. That's a no-brainer. You got to be a sponge. You got to reinforce what you learn by asking clarifying questions. Respond positively to all that feedback and criticism. You have to also realize that failure simply becomes feedback in this ongoing process of you becoming excellent. Remember, failure can either be a point in time or a state of mind, my friend. This A, what does it mean? C-H-A. A stands for ability to collaborate. Even if there's only one person that you are joining, like they were a solo or something, there is already a flow that you are disrupting. So know that. You need to try to work into the flow of what is already going on. During this fitting in phase, you won't be the smartest person in the room. So be okay with that. You just need to be able to generate these, what I would call complementary ideas. And then as you become a bigger part of the team and learn more, you'll be a bigger contributor. Don't be offended if your ideas aren't used or if you're not at the forefront of the show. That's okay. The fourth letter is a M, and it stands for master of a firm's workflow and or processes. So every firm will have this nuanced way of doing things, but the quicker you learn that process and why it exists, that's important. Why it exists, not just knowing the process, the more valuable you will become. Here's why. The process that this firm has is the reason that clients put their trust and receive whatever this services or products that is being exchanged for money from that firm. If you want to improve a process, you're gonna have to learn more about it before you start suggesting changes to it. So the way to make yourself indisposable here is Understand the firm's process for client intake and service delivery. So clients come in, how do they get what they asked for when they signed up? Understand those systems that support the overall process, like the trading, the CRM, the compliance, all that kind of stuff. And then start looking for and/or recommending opportunities to make the process better, only after you've done number 1 and number 2. Last and finally, the P stands for progress toward relevant professional designations and this pursuit of professional development. I'm not going to say a whole lot about this because we're going to cover this in detail in part 3 for a deeper dive. But what I will say, don't go overboard here. Your professional development is not as important as your personal development, and they should always have a goal, both of them. Don't just get designations because. Don't have a lot of letters behind your name for just any reason. What are you trying to improve on? Ask that question. Here are some things that I want you to consider when you're going after this stuff, just generally speaking. Do you need a specialized education for some particular type of client you will be serving? Is this something that's going to be valuable for you down the road? Individually, the firm as a whole, all those kind of questions. And what kind of return are you going to get on this? Like exponentially, like when you think about this, like the money you're spending, the time you're spending, are you going to be able to relate that to having a better career down the road? All right, here we are at the end of another video. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the 3rd and final installment in this video series, addressing the greatest fears of aspiring financial professionals when I talk about, what designations to go after. Hey, if you found this video to be helpful, would you hit the like button? I'd very much appreciate it. Until next time, talk to you later.